السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أسعد الله مساءكم بكل خير. مرحبا بكم في عرضنا اليوم لمنصة سبلاي برو. منصة سبلاي برو هي امتداد لمنصة مواد بشكلها الجديد. منصة مواد كانت مختصة في مشاريع الوطنية للأسكان. طلعنا بالسيجمنتيشن من مشاريع الوطنية للأسكان وفتحناها تكون بابليك للجميع. سبلاي برو هي منصة رقمية متكاملة تهدف إلى تحسين كفاءة سلاسل الإمداد في قطاع التشييد والبناء. تجمع المقاولين، المصانع لمواد البناء والمشترين في مكان واحد، بحيث نضمن عمليات سلاسل إمداد سلسة وفعالة تبدأ من تقديم الطلب، بعدها طلبات الأسعار، وتنتهي بإصدار الفواتير والدفع. رؤيتنا نصبح منصة متكاملة فيها جميع الخدمات التي تخدم سلاسل الإمداد، تكون موثوقة، تربط بين الجميع سواء موردين، مصانع أو مشترين في مكان واحد. رسالتنا تمكين الشركات والموردين وجميع الفئات المستهدفة من عمليات توريد سهلة عبر حلول رقمية مبتكرة توفر رؤية واضحة وعمليات سلسة وكفاءة تشغيلية، مما يضمن تجربة توريد متكاملة وآمنة لجميع الأطراف. أهدافنا الكفاءة والسرعة في إدارة التوريد، أهم الأهداف لمنصة سبلاي برو. سبلاي برو في أرقام: 1500 منتج، 129 مصنع، 45 مورد محلي ودولي، وقيمة تعاملات خلال السنة الماضية تجاوزت 2 مليار و300 مليون ريال سعودي. من تخدم المنصة؟ اليوم منصتنا تخدم الموردين المحليين والدوليين، تخدم المصانع المحلية والدولية، تخدم المقاولين في السوق المحلي، بالإضافة إلى الأفراد، وراح تكون مرحلة ثانية من خلال منصة سكني. ما تقدم منصة سبلاي برو: رقمنة كاملة لدورة سلاسل الإمداد في القطاع العقاري، طلبات، عروض، فواتير ومدفوعات، بالإضافة إلى أن المنصة هي مكان واحد تجمع جميع المستفيدين لسلاسل الإمداد في مجال البناء والتشييد والوصول إلى أسواق محلية ودولية بسهولة وسرعة. مزايا السبلاي برو: تغطية شاملة لجميع فئات مواد البناء، تقريباً اليوم مغطين 95% من مواد البناء. حلول تمويلية مرنة من خلال المنصة، أيضاً خدمات رقمية متكاملة في أنظمة الدفع موثوقة وآمنة. رؤية متكاملة لكافة مراحل سلاسل الإمداد والتوريد. ما هي القيم المضافة؟ القيم المضافة اليوم: رفع كفاءة المشاريع العقارية، تقليل تكاليف عمليات سلاسل الإمداد بنسبة تصل إلى 20%، بالإضافة إلى تعزيز الشفافية في قطاع التشييد والبناء. الآن بناخذكم في ديمو لمنصة مواد، سواء كباير أو سبلاير، راح يقدمه زميلي المهندس نجيب.
السلام عليكم، يعطيكم العافية جميعاً وتشرفنا بحضوركم اليوم. أخوكم نجيب عطار، رئيس تطوير الأعمال وفاوندينج ممبر in Penny Software. بصراحة we are honored today to co-launch Supply Pro with our partners NHC. And thank you very much, أخوي سعيد, for the introduction about the benefit of the platform, which serves as very strategic initiative in the supply chain domain in the country, right? So we know that this is the end of today, and we want to make the session very light. So I'll go with no further ado to explain some parts of the platform capability, but definitely we'll be actually working with you very, very closely. We know that a lot of attendees today are suppliers and contractors, which are buyers as well. And you're all welcome to join this platform and be part of it. So actually, I'm currently at the landing page. And excuse the slowness of the internet if anything happened, because we are casting to another device that actually presenting the platform, right? So this is the landing page, and please know that today actually is the official launching day for this platform. You might seen the news over different channels and press releases, but if you haven't, please make sure to check them out. So here we are actually at the landing page of the platform, and actually here it shows the categories or main categories, which are, by the way, growing, right? After that, actually, you can see that the platform is handy for the partners who have access to the platform, whether as buyers or suppliers, where they can log in, which I will do now, by the way. I'm going to log in to show you the experience of both buyers and suppliers and conduct a complete transaction in a very quick manner. But if you're not part already of that, you can register here. And again, whether you are a contractor, which actually in the language of the platform buyer, you can log in, you can register here, I mean, or whether you're a supplier. And if we actually just go down in the landing page, the main page here, all down to this place, actually you can see some instructions of how you can get started. Of course, it starts always with registration, right, to be part of this. So whenever you actually complete the registration process, there will be like an internal process internally here to approve the buyers and suppliers, and then you will be having your credentials to access the platform and add your colleagues within the same organization. Regarding the platform, the benefit of the platform, my colleague Said mentioned them thoroughly, but actually I just wanted to, again, emphasize on that, because actually the purpose is very huge here, right? The plan is to connect a vast amount of suppliers, right, with vast amount of buyers, globally and locally. So it's not actually focused on the local suppliers and buyers only, right? And most importantly as well, it will provide very good competitive pricing, because actually it works here in the concept of GPO, group purchasing power, right? NHC and the operating team of the NHC worked massively, right, into actually onboarding suppliers, set the right items. So there will be, actually for every supplier, they work with a tremendous amount and efforts into onboarding the supplier with specific products and specific, I would say, benchmark of the quality and standards for the products. And then, of course, the pricing, right? So working in the GPO concept, group purchasing power, it would be massive amount of procurement, which actually sets the pricing at a very good position for the procurement organizations, the contractors, I mean, right? So without any further ado, I will actually log in as a supplier, and I will log in as buyer, right? So from here, and let me use this one. So I will log in one time as buyer, and one time as supplier. Great. So as a buyer, I mean, like here, assuming that the buyer got the credential, this buyer is an approved buyer by the NHC, and they can log in. And once they log in, the buyer, right, the first thing they see, of course, on the left-hand side, they can see a lot of modules, and you can actually expect what could be behind every one of these modules, right? So for example, the orders, you would expect that you will see all of your orders that you have placed in this platform. For example, GRN, you would expect that for every order you have placed, it tracks the delivery of that order. And then, of course, the bills for the invoices that you receive from the supplier that you have purchased from, and of course, the payment where it shows you whether the payment of a certain invoice have been completed from your side or not as a buyer, right? But most importantly, the marketplace, right? Because this is where you will start as a contractor, as a buyer. You will be able to serve all the categories, which are expanding, by the way, and the products underneath. And if we go, for example, to any one of these categories, and let's say architectural, for example, and let's remember, we're serving here the real estate mainly, the contractors. So you would expect that most of the categories are related to construction, building materials, and things that goes into that. Again, please excuse the slowness of the internet, right? But then after we go to a certain catalog, we can then navigate under that. And let's say you can go with the specific thing like doors, and you will find the products listed below. All of the products that belongs to these categories, as we discussed, every product is linked with supplier or multiple suppliers at a very competitive pricing with all the specifications, right? Of course, the system will support the filtration, right? So whether you're filtering for a specific brand or specific price range or, let's say, specific supplier, right? And then you can actually keep doing that and add to your cart the products that would be of interest to your project. And I'm just like navigating one of the products here. And let us say that we're going to add this product to the cart. We want to purchase that item. I'm actually facing also some delay on the internet. But yeah, so I added one item, right? And as we can see, there is a cart here that's piling up the items that I'm adding to the cart. And let's say I'm going to add another item just for the demonstration, right? So let's say that item would be this one, let's say, without entering inside. And as you can see, all of the items that I'm adding are piling up in my cart. And eventually, when I create an order, right, every item will go to the respective supplier that was associated with that certain product that I selected, right? And let's say I'm going to create an order now because I want to show you the interaction between the buyers and suppliers. So let's say I'm going to give a title for this PO, and I would say like RSCF2025 just to mark it together. And it has a lot of other details that we can enter. But here it provides you a summary of the PO that you're going now to submit. And of course, you can change the quantities. And let's say I'm going to put 10 out of this and 15 for the second item. And then I'll be able to submit my order, right? And once I submit my order, you would expect that this order will go to the respective supplier, as we discussed. And here where I'm going to start the supplier journey with you, right? And here we have a supplier. Let me check the credentials, correct. So the supplier will have similar interface, but with different modules naming, because instead of orders, it will be received orders, right? Because I'm a supplier now. I'm actually receiving an order from you. So let's go to received orders. And we will see now a new order, which we named it together now, RSCF2025, right? So now, as a supplier, I'm going to check this order. And let's remember that these items were agreed upon in terms of specifications, in terms of pricing. So here, actually, it is just a sort of acknowledgement, right? That there is no like any barrier, and I'm going to accept this order. And the moment I accept this order, I should be now, actually, the next step is to start the delivery. And after the delivery, the invoicing, right? So let's say I'm going to accept this order for now as supplier. And I will keep switching between buyer experience and supplier experience. So I will go to the buyer experience now. And if we go to the order module and we go to the orders, you will see that this order that we have just placed together and accepted from the supplier side, it is tagged in the status as order accepted by the supplier, right? Now, very important, because one of the most important features in this platform is tracking, right? And you want to track every order. We have a lot of orders here, right? And every order has its associated delivery and associated invoicing. And if we go to one of them, right, which is the one that we created together, and from the angle of three-way matching, we will see that this order that had a value of 2,875, that was the order volume, right? And then the three-way matching is the GRNs related to that and the invoicing and bills related to that as well. Currently, all of these are empty because the delivery has not happened yet, and so as the invoicing as well. But every time now we will do a transaction in this PO, I will come to this screen again to show you how it's progressively tracking the progress of this order. Great. So as a buyer, I placed the order, and now it's accepted from the supplier. The next move from who? From the supplier. The supplier should start the delivery. So switching to the supplier view, and as you would expect in the delivery note module, I will go here, and then from that delivery module, the system automatically automatically will pile for you as a supplier all of the accepted orders by you, so you can easily and smoothly create a delivery note for any order. And as we can see, SEPS 2025 order is listed here already because it was accepted order, right? So let's say I'm going to create now a delivery note. And the order was having 10 items or 10 quantities from the first product and 15 from the second. So let's say, like as a real case life scenario, right? So maybe not all the quantities will be shipped in one shot. And let's say I'm going to ship 10 pieces from the first line item and another 10 pieces from the second line item, right? I will spare the other 5 to be shipped tomorrow. And I will submit that. Now, after I create this GDN, I think I submitted, yeah. So after I create this GDN, good delivery note, what we would expect, the buyer again, the buyer should receive the material and confirm the delivery note. So moving to the buyer side now, and in the module of good receiving note, right, I will also see it automatically piling. And then when I enter it, right, I will be able to see the summary, right? So the quantities that I ordered is listed here, 10 and 15. And the quantities that was delivered by the supplier was 10 and 10. Then received is 0. I didn't receive yet. So what I will do now is actually seeing the delivery note that the supplier submitted and confirm or whatever. I mean, it could be like not exactly the quantities, but just to move on the presentation today. So I confirmed. So as we can see now, the received quantities is also now matching the delivered quantity. And then for these received quantities, the supplier will be able to invoice me now for these received quantities, right? So if we go to the supplier view, and we go to the invoices, you will be able to see now the pending invoices. The system, again, automatically will pile up to you all the orders that you have delivered but not yet invoiced, so for smooth usability, right? So we have here 3 invoices that we didn't create yet, but we have the right to create them because we delivered. So it's very smooth and intuitive because now I know that 3 invoices need to be created, one of which belongs to the order that we created together today, right? And then here, you can see the unbilled quantities are 10 and 10 because this is what I delivered and the buyer received. Now I have the choice whether to invoice now these quantities or maybe wait for my second shipment to accumulate on top of that and then initiate one invoice. So, I mean, like these different scenarios are all possible. So I will wait. I will select to wait that I will deliver the second shipment. And let's go to the delivery note. And if you remember, we had 5 items pending from the second line item. So I'm going to create the GDN for that. And so quickly as buyer, let's say I received that. So I will go and receive it. So I will confirm receiving. So as you can see now, I received the full shipment, the full order, I mean, in 2 shipments. In 2 shipments. That's why there are 2 delivery notes. And remember the 3-way matching? Let's go there. Let's go there as a buyer because I want to track, right? And then if I go there, I will see my order again, 2,875. And the GRN, now it's adding information. Before it was completely empty, right? Now we have them in 2 shipments. One of the shipments covered 80% of that order, and the second shipment 20%. Now what's remaining is the invoicing. I didn't get invoiced yet. And then the supplier, of course, now, if they go to the invoice, right? If they go to the invoice, they selected not to invoice before, but now they shipped the other one. So now you can see that these quantities piled. And now actually we can initiate one invoice for the 2 shipments together and with the full amount, right? So I will create the invoice. Just bear with me, I'm scrolling down. Yes, so I'm going to create the invoice. And once I create the invoice, I will be able to add some attachments, right, to it. some attachments, some dates, some other things, right? But then I can submit it. And submitting it means that I'm sending it to the buyer. Now the buyer, if they go to the bills, which is actually the received invoices from the suppliers, they can see that this invoice was received. Again, on the top of the list, because this is the most recent one. So it's vendor submitted the invoice, and I can see it, right? And then, of course, it is matching the, like everything is automated here. So you would expect that the PO will follow the same values as the GRN and the same values as the invoice. So will be no actually mismatch here. So no worries about the reconciliation or all of these topics. So again, I will accept this invoice, right? And accepting the invoice means I pushed it to the payment module. Because I'm the buyer, now I need to settle this invoice. So I just accepted it now. And before I settle the payment, I want, again, to go back to the order view, right? The three-way matching. So when we go to the order module now, you will see now the full picture now, right? The full picture. So this is the PO with the 2,875 riyals. It was fully received. That's why the blue bar is at its full, right? But it was received in 2 shipments. One of the shipments is 80%, and one of the shipments was 20%, which accumulated to 100. And then the invoice, I received only one invoice that covers everything in one shot for the full amount. But look at the value here. The value here is 2,875, and you can see it is currently at the due because I didn't pay it. If I pay it, it will be under the paid. So I will just go now and pay it and come back again here to see how this number will be shifted or how it will shift to this square. So in the payment module, right? And of course, as my colleague Saeed mentioned, the platform comes with financing options. So also the payment could be through the financing solution that is embedded in the platform, or it could be like external wire transfer, which you will just upload the proof of the payment, right? And this is what I will assume here. So here, all of these are approved bills that I need to pay, but one of which was the order that we created together today. And I'm going to settle it now. So proceed to payment. And of course, here I will find my options, right? So let's say I'm going to wire transfer it, and I will upload the proof of the transfer, and I will submit the payment. Sorry, I will submit the payment from here. So once I submit the payment, the full cycle is complete now, from the time of placing the order to the time of payment. And if we go to the view of the order, right, and that would be the final view, and see this number now is under the paid amount. Now imagine all of these orders have the same mechanism. All of the orders you can actually easily and in real time see the delivery of the order, the receiving, the invoicing, the invoices if it was accepted by you or not, if it's under revision, and if it's accepted, whether it's paid or not. So a complete visibility and traceability. And now if we go to the supplier view, as you would expect, after we conducted the payment, they also have a module called received payments, right? So under the received payments, they will find the last transaction, which was the 2,875 that we did together today. And of course, if there was any attachment, they will see it, but that's the end of the journey.